multiracialism, because it assumes in the first instance that the people have got to be arranged in compartments based on color. You have Europeans in one compartment, Asians and coloreds in two other compartments, and the Africans in another compartment. And immediately you talk of multiracialism, you are accepting as a starting point that the races are different, and this difference must be recognized. We are non-racialist in our approach. That is, we regard as an individual as an individual, and that everybody must be accorded his full political rights, whether he be white or black, educated or uneducated, rich or poor. And this is exactly why we are at the moment struggling to earn for our people.
Rising.
Grand Rising, brother.
How art thou?
I am well. And yourself?
I'm good, man. No complaints.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, today on the Humblest Opinion, myself, Tony Bahama, and Malik Adegyamba want to talk to you. You know, we appreciate, of course, the growing support. Our far-reaching sweep is definitely growing as it relates to our opinion from a Pan-Africanist opinion, Pan-Africanist comedy, Pan-Africanist humor, and of course, local and current events. Before we get into our topic for today, we want to, of course, say our disclaimer. Our disclaimer states that the Humblest Opinion is brought to you by AB2C Broadcasting, B-Caribbean TV, and Professional Renaissance Protection Services. Anything on the Humblest Opinion is brought to you via an Asheville platform. You know, anything we say, anything disseminations, any thoughts, any inclinations, anything that comes out of it that you may think as a result of it being brought to you via an Asheville platform, you do have the right to choose. You have the right to choose relative to anything we say. If you decide to choose and listen, you are completely liable. If you do not choose to listen, or something bothers you or offend you, that's fine. You have the right to exercise your choice and leave. If you do listen, however, you are 100% liable, or we are non-liable. Yes, today on the Humblest Opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to make known, just wanted to bring to light things that are happening around the world, and something that might or might not affect you. Today on the Humblest Opinion, we want to talk about Slick Willie, no homo, the slickest, and anybody named Bill or Will, and as it relates to you and how that relates to you. But Adegyamba, know anybody named Bill? Know anybody named Will? Today on the Humblest Opinion, of course, in local and breaking news is Bill Gates and his divorce, and some of the details that are coming out as a result of what he is defining as a marriage, which is not necessarily a marriage. It's kind of, what is it, compersion, or is it polyamory? What, you know. But Adegyamba, you're adept in this field. Help us understand what's going on here.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be compersion. Obviously, it's not, seeing as how jealousy has reared its ugly head. So it was initially supposed to be compersion, because the thing about it is, it's not polygamy because he's not married to both people. It's not I mean, now I guess it could fall within the category of polygyny, because he's married to one and the other one would have been looked at as, you know, I don't know if she was the official sweetheart, or if she was a concubine, or she was labeled as the other wife. I don't know what their understanding was in the situation. Okay, but let's just be clear. Okay, what they're pushing down your throat that you're supposed to only be dealing with one person, they ain't running like that. They are they living their life.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Hey, listen, the other bill was running around crazy too. I don't know what's going on with these bills, bro. You know what I mean?
And that is my point. Ladies and gentlemen, if you name your child Will or Bill, he's a cheater. Just know your child is going to be a cheater. Is going to break the rules. Just know he's gonna be a runaround. Okay, just know he's gonna get around. That's it. That's just if you name your child Bill or Will, anybody you know, if you are married right now to somebody named Bill or Will, sorry, he's out there. He belongs to the streets. He
He
belongs to the
belongs to the
streets.
streets.
He
He
belongs
belongs to the streets.
he belongs to the streets. You know, you said something that was profound, and I didn't even think about it like that until you mentioned it. Was the name Ann Winblad, who's a software programmer who owns an investment company who did not have any money until she met Bill Gates. Just for the record, you know, they work together. Of course, that's a number one way that people get into secondary relationships. Somebody they work with or somebody they interact with. So they work together. They invented some process and she sold it for about $15 million. Now she's a investor. You know, so somewhere along that line, based on what the storyline says, that she didn't want to get married because she's a partner with somebody else that just happens to be a 6'9" NBA player, former NBA player. You know, take from that what you will, you know. So maybe, you know, Bill Gates has in his marriage that he can be with this woman at least one time a year or 1 week or 1 month or whatever the contract states, you know, that he can, even though he's married to the other lady, that he can be with this woman and they go to this quote unquote undisclosed location, okay, with complete privacy. They wind glide, they take walks on the beach, and they brainstorm, is what the litigation or the
Litigation.
document says. Yeah, But again, how I mean, how common is it that you wind glide and you brainstorm at the same time, Brother Gamba? Help me understand.
Listen to me, right? I've never in all of my research I haven't heard about this before. Okay, so this would be uncharted territory for me because I honestly cannot tell you of another time when I've heard these words come together. Okay, in an agreement of any form, verbal or written. Okay, so yeah, I honestly would not be able to help you in this particular area right here. Okay, this some new shit. This some new shit.
It's some new shit. This some $140 billion shit. You know what I mean? This some other shit. So just asking, Brother Gamba, have you ever wind glided and had a deep thought moment at the same time?
No, because I mean, the purpose of it is really for relaxation and a vacation situation. So my
Exactly.
mind, my mind would not be focused on work. And while you're doing that, I mean, you gotta concentrate on what you're doing, unless you're looking to die. You
Yeah,
know what
you
I
can
mean?
die.
So no,
Yeah.
so no. I mean, all I can say is the individual is exceptional. Let me say that. Yeah, it's exceptional to be able to do all these things at the same time. This ain't like chewing gum and crossing
One,
the road, you know. This ain't like chewing gum and crossing the road, my brother. Okay, you got to be exceptional.
all of this, doing this all one time. So, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, from a Pan African perspective, putting this all in context, Bill Gates, who's a proponent of population control, who is going all about the world giving this vaccine and initiatives in Africa. He was a part of the big Ebola scare that was a few years ago. Just bear in mind, the people that I know on the ground there, they're saying that they fought the people that were supposedly coming with the help, but were giving motherfuckers Ebola, apparently. They were testing out vaccinations on them through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So that's some bullshit, and that's what was happening. It's two sides of the story. It's sometimes three. The people on the ground were saying that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was testing out vaccines on the people, and thus it got out of control, and thus was the big Ebola scare that happened in Africa a few years ago. Jump forward now to this pandemic, which Bill Gates predicted, by the way. Maybe he got that thought process when he was hang gliding and walking on the beach and brainstorming with this side chick or official. We gotta come up with a different word for this. I don't know. With his official secondary wife or secondary partner. But he knew the pandemic was coming. Some people say he might have created the shit. Who knows? Who knows? But it just so happens that he predicted it and it happened. So the pandemic of the last, year and a half or pandemic, even though he said it, could be planned. Who knows? Came out, and here is where we stand. Now, while he's running around, he's had trips to the Bahamas, other places in the Caribbean, all across the world on his private jet, in his private meetings with the president or the prime minister of the Bahamas, on a small cabinet, on his private jet a few months ago. I don't know if Ms. Winblad was there. He's telling you that it's not enough resources on the earth, that population control has to go forward. So the vaccine or people are going to die is what he was pushing. Now, a man that has pretty much almost 1% of all the wealth on earth, a man that tells everybody, oh, no, don't have all these kids, try to steady yourself, population control resources, has two known women that he's interacting with. And somebody that's trying to give you a vaccination has been tied to the biggest outbreaks of the vaccination or the cause that he's been pushing. But again, what does it sound like to you?
Listen, first off, if we go into history,
yes,
we would realize that whenever these vaccinations roll out, there's been something else that rolled out, some illnesses, some sicknesses. Correct. And it's usually after the vaccines have been forced on people or strongly advised to be utilized by people. All right. The saddest thing to me in this world that we're in is that you would have information given to people, right? We're talking about sometimes decades before the thing takes place.
Mm-hmm.
You would be sued or just viewed as some crazy individual called a conspiracy theorist after they invented this terminology. Then they just simply don't do it in the time frame that they said. Hell, sometimes they do it in the time frame that they said. And then people just forget about the information that's there and the warnings that they got beforehand. All right?
Yeah.
Now, he is one of those people who does this prophesying of things, and all they do is make certain that their prophecy comes true. That's what people don't understand. Most of the times when these people of the 1% of the 1% predict certain things, that's because they already have plans in motion.
Right.
You think this just came about? This was in plan for 30 years more. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Right. And it was just the best time to go and bring it out. All right. One of the main reasons why people spoke about 5G being a part of the reason why people are getting sick is because for each time that they have amped things up in reference to radio waves, radiation, and whatnot, there's been some sickness going on. and then they
Correct.
create a vaccine because they say that, oh, a new strain of something came about. But only one source of people giving you this information, and then they disseminate that information to the other people around the world who are listening to them. Some who truly, honestly believe that these people trying to save people, so they're doing what they can to assist. And then others who don't give a shit, they just say, but it's more money making time for me, which is what's going
Yeah.
on now with the pandemic. All right. So he is just doing what he's always been doing. But hopefully it opens the eyes to the people, because these are the same. Okay. What gets me is that the people who always try to be the voice of the people, the morale, you understand me? For the people, speaking of morality and principles and this and that, they're usually the people who are doing exactly what they're telling you not to do.
Correct. So Bill Gates has been quoted in his interviews, have one family. He's a proponent of the one family model. His charities, which is a hoax, just a hoax. If you married to somebody you name, why you didn't name the side chick on the hoax?
Oh yeah, listen. The two Bills and the wives got the same hoax going on, bro.
Come on, to supposedly give to impoverished nations, and they are synonymous with their quotes towards Africa. Why does Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton so concerned about Africa? And there was, we talked about it in the previous show about Haiti and the
And Haiti,
aid,
yes.
black people.
And,
Why are
and
they
in
so?
all the years of all the multi-million dollars they've collected, have
What the
done
fuck have they done?
little to nothing, little to frigging nothing, little to nothing.
So we it's a hoax. And then Hillary has the audacity to coin the phrase supposedly that it takes a village to raise a child. What it is insulting, and it is completely an African proverb. It is 100% an African proverb that she stole, and she made it seem as though, she thought about this. It was so profound that she came up with it. Okay, cool. Moving on. Show's not about her and Bill. But let's think about it. Now, Bill Gates, is he practicing the African model of relationships? Could he be?
Most of them do that. Most of them, that's exactly what they do. That's what people don't understand. We
Exactly.
we were the model for just about everything that takes place. Now they changed our mindset and have our people believing that everything that we used to do was bad. But they do everything. They wear the
Correct.
kind of clothing that we do. They do the same kind of rituals and ceremonies that we used to do. Most of them live the lifestyles that they know that we used to, because they know that this is what brings forth wealth and prosperity. But they tell you not to do it to make sure that you can't get to where they are.
Correct. And it's all a hoax. It's all a sham. Why does somebody that wants to control the population just so happen to want you to get vaccinated in the name of you living in life and prosperity? Why isn't he giving away his money to the people that why is he putting conditions on giving to Africa? All of the resistors and all of the things that are within all of his circuitry, and the fact that he doesn't give you anything, even with the software. You can't own a copy of Windows. You have to rent it or lease it. So if somebody's not giving you a copy of their own works that's supposed to help the universe or help people, what would make you think they would give you the money that came from it? But again, help me understand. Help me understand.
the the problem is that we're not opening our eyes, man. We're not understanding what it is that's taking place. We're not seeing things for what they are. All right. He's always been truthful about who he is, but where they have the win because the people who have the most money, they're controlling the airwaves. They
Right.
control the media outlets, control the social platforms. So when they speak about certain things, if they feel like it's too derogatory, they scrub it, or they just simply say, "Oh, they never said that. That's a lie." Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's misinformation. Then with the fighting that would have been taking place against them, because polio, polio, the Ebola, all of these different things that they put on to the African community, when people were fighting against these things, they didn't make that known. You understand me? Now, small media out at bottom, under the control of the major media houses may have been covered. So if you're not following these small media outlets, some of them you can't even find them because this aren't strong enough to be reaching you where you are. If you didn't know that, then you would not know exactly what's taking place. That's what they count on.
Yeah. So we have some news. We have some actual from a reliable source, the somewhat reliable source, the New York Post. The New York Post says, following the announcement, unusual details about the marriage from a 1997 Time magazine profile resurfaced. Bill Gates, now 65, revealed a questionable arrangement he had with his ex-girlfriend Anne Winblad while married to Melinda. Each spring, this is not weeks, each spring for like a whole season, so pretty much 3 quarters of the year, this dude is gone to his girlfriends or former girlfriend together. They spend time together at her Outer Banks, North Carolina home, which is actually the home of the Cherokee, which is actually the home of black people, which was promised in 1866, that was taken over by black people and taken back. Then they enjoy several activities, including, okay, I understand now, Buddy Gamba. They didn't say that all they would be doing was long walks on the beach. Because it says here they will be enjoying several activities, including long walks on the beach and wing gliding. But it doesn't say that's all they were doing or they're going to be doing. You know, it's just a hoax. It's just a farce. We have to think. They say they play putt putt while discussing biotechnology. Brother Gamba. Brother Gamba. Adults
It's
playing
just
putt
so funny, man. It's just so
adults
funny, man.
adults playing putt putt. And that was his exact words.
like I said, it's just so funny to me, man. It's just so funny to me. I mean, it's just so funny to me. Um, but I'll say this to you, right? Any contractual agreement, that once you agree to something, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else except you. All right, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So his wife agreed to these things. So if she decides to get upset now, then she's wrong because she agreed to those things. You understand?
The, yeah.
Unless he's trying to change the agreement. What I want to get across is that they need to understand that these type of things are happening. This is not
Right.
new. Now, I mean, the
Right.
whole putt-putting and long walks on the beach and windsurfing, that those things may be a bit different. I don't feel like everyone puts that type of shit inside the contract in their relationship. But hey, everyone has their thing, right?
To each their own,
But
I guess.
yes, but there are definitely contracts. There are definitely contracts and contractual agreements that are taking place worldwide in reference to these kinds of things, because of the fact that we were never set up to just do this one man, one woman thing for everybody. No, there's not even, the population doesn't even add that up. If the population said there's one man for each woman, then we could say you have to find your soulmate because there's one person out there for you. But
Right.
when you have the women outnumbering the men, it clearly says more women are supposed to be with one man. That's in my humble opinion. That's how I see it.
Brother Gamba, hold on. The more I must send this article out, I'm gonna tag the link for everybody to look at this. The wording in this article is so this is like 40 Shades of Grey. This is like a sex novel, like with the innuendo. Get this. Miss Winblad, they have pictures of the house and everything that they're just so happened, just in the last couple of days, they're putting it up for sale. They're putting the house up for sale. But she said in this interview, in the most recent one, she said, I said she'd be a good match for him because she has such intellectual stamina.
Intellectual stamina.
Okay. I understand intellectual stamina. But what that choice of words, this is what Miss Winblad is saying of Bill Gates, of Bill. You know, and then all of a sudden, she said she put a great deal of thought and a lot of work into their relationship. But they was determined that they could no longer find a way to grow together as a couple in this next phase of their lives.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. What is it? Really? Really? Really?
Well, I mean, their terminology is just
it's
so.
stunning. It's
Yeah.
stunning. It's wild.
Yes.
Intellectual stamina.
They know how to choose those words.
Intellectual stamina. Okay. Come on, people. Like, we know what's going on here. Can we all, oh, just another bit of information. The payout. Bill Gates has transferred $1.8 billion in his stock
Right.
to Melinda Gates. So, she got paid. She was, she did 24, 34 years total in a relationship, and 20 something in marriage. They have 3 kids.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. She did her time. Oh, she tried, I guess. But they had the agreement, and nobody can tell me different.
No, but the thing about it is, if this agreement wasn't in place from probably the beginning of the relationship,
and
then
it was.
then right. But I'm saying if it wasn't, then the payout would have been much more. We know the man's listed earnings, and it's far more than that. So obviously this was the setup from the beginning. Okay.
Right.
Because when we go into things of a prenuptial nature, you don't leave with 50%. You understand me? You don't leave with what the state that you're living in
Determines.
determines, because here it is now, some states you get more than 50, especially you got children. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So obviously this was an understanding from the jump. But for those who idolize and immortalize these people just because they have far more money than any of us could probably ever imagine acquiring in our lifetime, that does not mean that they're different from you, better than you,
Or
or
even
greater.
good people. Correct. They're not ethical people by any stances of the imagination. People have the assumption that, oh, they have money, they're different, or they're better, or they have good morals to go along with it. No.
Because that is as far as they're concerned, that is the reason why they made all of this money, because they were so good at what it is that they were doing. But think about it. So many people who are living their life what they consider to be right, according to the letter of the law and religion. And how
Right.
well are they doing?
Yeah. And then it's a farce. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a farce. If you're believing that these people, think about the last 3 major occurrences that people want to consider based on economics, in relationships in the white world. Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world, divorced his wife. She divorced his wife. She didn't get half. She took a certain amount. He stepped away. Now she has a black boyfriend.
Well, listen, see, what you got to understand is this, right? What you have to understand is this: for the majority of women, of what they've deemed to be white race, even Latino. Unless they are afraid of a good pounding, they're dying to have a
A
big
gun
problem.
pounded.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what generally happens is this. They say, let's get this money first. Okay? Let's get this money first. So once I didn't get this paper, now it's time for me to enjoy my life. See, what people don't understand is this. For the average individual, if you're a millionaire, you could survive the rest of your life. Once you've put money in the right place, you can survive for the rest of your life comfortably. You don't have to be living super extravagant. All right. If you put your money in the right place, especially if you could get some investments that yield you some sort of return 8 to 10% a month, you could live quite comfortably once you're a multimillionaire. So a lot of these women never even did any real work to make this money. They was just home chilling anyhow. So they
Right.
just moved to a different location to continue staying home chilling. Okay, getting dig right out. All right, that's what it is. That's that's life. That's life for them. Okay, heaven to most of the white women is a big black dick, man. It's a BBC. Come on, man. Let's get real. Let's get real. Okay.
just
So right now she living her best life.
just to make it known too, she recently married another white guy, but she still regularly gives. She's given $4 billion away to historically black colleges and food banks and charities and in mostly African American areas.
That's how good it was to her, man. That's how good it was to her.
Oh man, she married a white guy, but she's still giving money to these black people. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. And hey, take it for the facts. Take a humble opinion based on the facts. Now, King, well, no, not my prince. What the fuck this dude's name is? This dude, the king's husband, who wanted to come back as a deadly virus. Prince George or King George, whatever the hell he was. I don't even
Yeah,
know his
but
name.
he would have been a prince. I think the official title was Duke.
Duke, right? The Duke of whatever, right? He and the Queen did not eat at the same time. Did not eat in the same room. Did not travel together unless it was prearranged months in advance. They didn't give speaking arrangements together. They didn't govern or meet with their advisors. They had two separate sets of advisors. They lived in two separate wings of the palace. And, they also had other thoughts. Or they didn't even eat together. They didn't even eat the same things. So, but yet, people aspired to this thought of this love that these people supposedly have that they're living in the house on the hill in a castle and they're royals. No, that's not what was going on, and it's been that way for almost 60 plus years with those two. So I mean, come on, come on, really? And now this Bill Gates, if you name your child Bill, just know he belongs to the streets. It's not your child anymore. He has a separate passport. He's going to live a separate life. That's what's been happening. And people seem to not understand that this is how people are living. But again, your thoughts on this finally?
That is, as you said, people don't understand that this is how people are living and have been living for however long. That's why I said earlier, they teach you and train you, miseducate you to feel like what comes naturally, what people call cheating, what comes naturally is wrong. That's not the case. It's not wrong. Okay, what is wrong is that you don't have a agreement with that you don't have an agreement with these people. Okay, y'all aren't
Yeah.
either able to marry officially or y'all don't have a contractual agreement in place. That's what's wrong. Just
Yeah.
going sleeping, just having sex from this person, that person, the next person for no reason. Now, when you're talking about committed relationships and you have committed relationships with these people, you have children with these people. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you all have a clear understanding, no drama, and you all trying to build an empire together. See, people, when they hear the word empire, they're like, oh, you're not talking about the empire like an empire has to be an entire country. No, your empire is your own castle. You're the emperor, the
Correct.
king, the queen of your own castle. That's
Correct.
your
Correct.
empire. That's your
Correct.
empire. Okay,
Correct.
your empire might only be worth $10,000. Somebody else who might be worth $190 billion. But it's still, that don't change it from being an empire. That's
But
your
that's still
personal
yours,
empire.
and it's still
Okay,
yours.
exactly. This is yours. Okay, so if your plan is to build this empire together, then y'all doing what y'all should be doing. All right. So stop listening to these people who are telling y'all that what is natural is wrong while they're building their empire together. Because watch this. He was able to come together with his concubine, his mistress, his second wife, whatever it was, okay, to come together and make something happen into the millions,
The
right?
billions. The
Okay,
billions.
right? And be able to make things happen with his other woman with a foundation in the billions. So the union of him with those two women was financially beneficial for him,
Right.
on top of whatever romantic things were taking place. So think about that for a minute. If you had the opportunity to have two or three women with you who each y'all could all come together and help each other to make money, and everyone is successful in their own right, and you all did that together, you all in one circle, think about how huge and how large you could be.
And maybe black women are right. You hear people, women say, "Oh, I am the table." What do you bring to the table? They say, "I am the table." Cool. Imagine if you had more tables, then you could potentially have more on the table.
Yeah. I would say this. I would say this. The qualified women are correct when they say that they are the table because they're bringing things with them. But a lot of the women don't bring anything to the table, and
Yeah.
their table is bare. Okay, their table is bare. So see, okay, a good woman is not somebody who's attractive, who can
Only,
give you
yeah.
some good, who could give you some good sex, dance well with you when you're going out and give you little massages and these different things. Okay, cook, clean, wash, iron, these common stuff, regular stuff that's supposed to be happening no matter what. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you talk about a good woman, you're talking about a good woman who can bring growth to your life in some way. She doesn't have to be the most intelligent person. Okay, let's take, for example, I mean, this is not a woman, but let's just take, for example, Floyd Mayweather. This is not the most academically inclined individual or
Correct.
academically trained individual, but he's one of the richest black men in the world, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a female who has the mindset of how to make money, who has the drive of how to make money. We ain't gonna be hungry for long, baby. Let's go make this money. And
Right.
she's helping you to build your plans. If you have good ideas, she's riding with you and helping to make it happen. Or she's one of them who bring in the ideas to the table.
Right.
Okay, then that's what you call a table worth stocking, or a table that comes stock. So people make statements. We say things all the time. Okay, all right. Here's a very, very popular statement. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. That's a lie. This is why people die. All kind of sickness, illnesses, whatever. If you read in this book that they tell you is the word of God, it shows where um this God, well, I mean it's about 70, but that's another show, has given orders for people to be destroyed. You call like being good all the time? No. So just because you say it does not make it true. So for someone to hear that I am the table and they repeat it, that doesn't mean they correct.
I mean,
That might
they
have been
are the
correct for the
table.
person. That might have been correct for the person who made the statement. That's not correct for the person that um is not bringing anything to the table, and that's where we go wrong. There are a whole lot of women who feel as if they are the prize, but a prize serves the purpose, my brother. If I win a television set and that television don't work, that no prize, bro. That's garbage. Okay. If I win 2 plane tickets to go somewhere and the date is already gone, that's not a prize. That's
That's a
garbage.
loss. That's a loss. Throw it
Okay,
away.
you understand what I'm
Right.
saying? So if you're going to be a prize, you need to be a prize that's going to be worthwhile. That's what it is. You need to
And
be a
speaking on that,
worthwhile prize.
and speaking on that, these women, the combined, let's add it all up. If you say Jeff Bezos with $100 billion, almost $200 billion, you have his wife McKinsey, who probably, let's just say if they all got half, you know, Queen Elizabeth, not a looker, not the best, not the no, does the most prettiest woman on the earth, not by any stats or stretch of the imagination. McKinsey, not the prettiest, the and Melinda Gates, not definitely not the prettiest, but they got together with the individuals, and the combined wealth of all of these men has gone up since they got together. Now, what did these women bring to the table? McKinsey, Jeff Bezos' wife, an Ivy League or graduated valedictorian, one of the best and smartest academically, one of the most logical women ever, based on these assertions and people that have met her. Now, Bill Gates' wife, logical. The side chick was the valedictorian of an Ivy League school, a Duke, and the Queen. She brought the empire with her. Now, nobody knew about the dude she married. He died, and I don't really care. Nobody really cares. But his wealth went up. So think about that in principle. The principle is they did bring something to the table and they helped maximize each other because she got richer. All of the women in these equations have gotten richer, and all the men in these equations have gotten richer. So think about that. Introspectively look at those examples and see what has actually happened. Um, on another note, as we close, we have to bring a point to some of the coon, we have some people that are going on vacation. The summer months are coming. It is in the month of May. Um, we have some people going to Cancun. We have a whole list of politicians that they don't do no work anyway, but they go into Cancun for their coonastic activities. We had recently in the House and the Senate. Everybody talks about the 1619 project, which most people don't know. If you don't know, go look it up. It basically talks that in 1619, there was proof and evidence that's being taught in history in America that should be being taught that the white people are, the people that are racist, because not all of them are racist, but the white people, the majority of them, are trying to block this history from coming in to being taught to the kids. That's what the 1619 project is about. And in the year 1619, which is before 1776, mind you, which is almost 150 years before the invention of what is America, that there is evidence to show that Africans and Native American people were homogenous and had societies and lived in America. And that basically, obviously, 1776, the War of Independence, and so on and so forth, American history, is a subsequent fact to a civilization that committed genocide. Because I can't come to your house and try to say, oh, I'm owning this house now, without killing you or taking it from you. And there was some robbery, which is what happened. And the 1619 Project proposed that. In this proposal, to get it into history, which it is the history, which is the story, this happened. They had tribes, they had civilizations. Africans liaisoned with these individuals from South America and even Africa, the continent, in what is now America, all the way up to Canada. But white people, white politicians are fighting this legislation tooth and nail, saying that the Compromise of 1813, saying that slavery wasn't so bad, saying that they can't possibly teach this because it changes everything in American history. Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Gambo, I, I'm at a loss as to why. I mean, I get it. But I'm
Yeah, because
you still
I was
here?
about yeah, because I'm saying to you,
You
I'm
still
not.
here?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I'm here. We're here.
Yeah, I'm saying to you that I'm not at a loss at all because this is what America was built on. This is what Europe was built on.
This
This is
lie.
what Germany was built on, where all of these people originally came from. The thing is this, and this is what or why people speak, especially of the Pan African community, and say that all white people are racist. Not because they hate white people, because racism is about money. Racism isn't about feelings. That's what people don't understand.
Right.
You benefit from the spoils of your ancestors. And you have never one time turned around and said, you know what? We did this egregious thing. We need to make this right. So let's put this well together and equally distribute it among all of us. That way, no, we can't change the rape and murder, castrations of these people, but we could at least put them at a level where they can have the respect that they deserve, that they can be able to accomplish the same things that we can. Let's make it right. Let's change the laws. So if you're not fighting to do that, then you're racist because you're comfortable with your white privilege. You're
Yeah.
doing nothing to change the white privilege. Okay. So, as I said, I am not surprised at all because their point is simple. If we are teaching this, the generations that come up of what they label as black, what they label as white, their mindsets have to change because they now have new information that they never had before. A lot of white people and black people have been taught that we were nothing but slaves. We were never anything other than slaves. So them coming into our lives helped us because if it wasn't for them coming into our lives, the world would not be at the level that it is now. What they failed to realize is that if they had never come into the lives of the African civilization,
Exactly.
this world would have been advanced by about 1,000 years by now because
Even
they met us.
yeah.
They met us where we are now. They met us there. So look how far we would have been able to go. Long before there was a telescope, long before there was a NASA, we were mapping out the stars. Long before, long before that, we were building pyramids based on the trajectory of the stars. Okay? We had tribes like the Dogon tribe who could map it out and draw everything out, and they was accurate down to exactly what it was. And when they got all this technology and checked it out and checked with them, they came to find out that they had it right all along.
Right.
So that means that there was no need for y'all. People need to realize that we have actually civilized Europeans twice. Twice. Okay?
Hmm.
They ended up colonizing us after we helped because our nature is to help. And that's how come we're in the predicament we're in now. The ships pulled up. We didn't say let's kill these people, these strange who the hell these motherfuckers is. No, that's not what we said. We said, hey, welcome them. Give them something to eat. Let's find out what's going on. Okay. Next thing you know, people dead. Whether it's from the sickness, the nasty sicknesses that they brought with them, or whether it was because of the plans that they put together to create wars or to sneak attack you and kill you. So if this information, if the true accurate history is put out there, what they have set up has to collapse because they're gonna be
Correct.
like, how can we actually be okay with this shit? We gotta stop this. We gotta fix this. That is what would
Yeah.
happen. More people would rise up, whether it's the blacks coming together and rising up, or whether it's people as a whole, because there was a time when we were just people, when we were just humans. And if you were doing wrong to us, we would come together and fight. So
Right.
that's why they created black and white. So you have a division, you have a separation. So it doesn't make sense me fighting on your side because you ain't looking out for me. You ultimately looking out for your people. That's how we feel. Okay, that's what we've been taught. Because most of the drama is not true. It's what the media pushes. That's not how most people think. Okay, but you
Yeah.
feel a certain way because that's what you're told on the mainstream media that this is what's going on. Okay, let me show you the level of the lies. In India, there was a gas leak and thousands of people died. You know what they
Yeah,
advertised that?
sadly.
Yes, very, very sadly. But you know what they advertised that? That COVID-19 killed those people.
I didn't even know that. And now that you
Yeah,
say
no, no,
it,
no.
it makes
The
perfect sense
media,
because they were sending oxygen.
yes, but the media was saying that COVID-19 killed these people. So you have to understand that you have a so-called virus going around that no one is dropping down dead from. When you coming together in groups, you don't have, 10 people got together. Those 10 people died. They just, because they came together, they fell out and died. You don't have no stories like that because it's not true. You understand me? You could get permission to go inside a food store with hundreds of people, but you can't go to a funeral with more than 10. Okay?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So what I'm saying is that the media gives a narrative, and the majority of the people don't do any research on it. They just listen to what is being said and they go with that. So that's the same thing with hatred. It's the same thing with jealousy, envy, bigotry. All of these things are that way because that's what the media says. The media tells you black men are scary. White women, when you're traveling, clutch your purse because something could happen to you. So of course that's what they do. But the average person who they come up into is not a threat. Because
Right.
honestly and truthfully, if we were threats, all of them would have been dead by now. Come on, man. Let's be real.
Right. Right.
Look
Right.
at how
Right.
look, look at how much look at how much has been done to us. So if we were truly terrible people, we would have done this thing a long time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So it's what the media perpetuates. So they need this narrative to continue. And if this is taught in schools, as I said, it would change the entire narrative. They cannot allow that, else they will lose the power that they have.
Yes. What the name did say that twofold on your point. Cat Williams and all his profoundness says that the genocide and the big war of hate of all black people killing all the white people for slavery and all the things they've done. Hey, it's been 500 years. It's been 600 years plus. It still ain't happened. It still hasn't happened. So what are you still scared of? What are you waiting on? Like why are we waiting? Why would we wait 600 years to kill you all or to do whatever? Like, come on, it's not gonna happen. That's not how we think, And then I get it from a historic standpoint. The Southern, um, um, and the gentleman James Baldwin, and also echoed again by Sheikh Anta Diop, says that the sudden injection of truth into American culture and into American society would would destroy it. They started this with a lie. And they've been going with this lie for so long. So, you know, the fact that you want to bring truth to it now after almost 400 or 500 years, yeah, it's not gonna work out. It's just that again, politicians, the people that are influential and in charge of their states still want to perpetuate this lie. Mitch McConnell and so on and so forth. Off to the Canary Islands, you gotta go because people see it. They see you. You can't keep lying. So yeah. But again, but give us your final thoughts on the rap. The $1 billion polygamist. you
Listen,
know,
my thing with this is, and I saw a post by Dr. Umar the other day, because I don't really recall him having the conversations on it before, so I didn't know what his position was on it. But he said, sister wives over side chicks,
correct. Correct. I did
you
see
know,
that.
okay, and so my point on this would be that. Because if you have your sister wives, who knows, you could become a billionaire too, instead of just being a side chick and getting $40.
It'd be more to go around.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's just it's simple economics to me. It's simple economics to me.
A lot of people are thinking of relationships as dictatorships, and they should be thinking of relationships as a business or as an investment.
But that's what a relationship, a real serious relationship, that's what it is, because you're supposed to be trying to build a life together. So how do you build? Are we just going to be drinking Hennessy, partying in the clubs, having sex in different places, and that's what we call life. That's what we call love. This is what we find to be um, entertainment and you know, life worthy. That's how you feel. It should be coming together and let's making something happen. And if we all love each other, we're going to come together and make things happen together so that we all can be better beneficial instead of struggling on our own. So
Right.
and that's what a business is. And the good thing about it is, if it's like that, then there's no salaries because we're working together to create money. But if you have to do this on your own, you have to pay people to do this, which takes away from the money what you had.
Yay. And then, a woman interested and invested, or a man truly invested in the future of his children and his family, has a little more extra drive, typically pushing whatever ventures it is that he was. Because it's not just him here or her here, it's their family, it's the group, it's the children to come, it's the generation to come. And they see that. The most successful businesses are all family businesses. So, yeah, definitely food to thought to consider. A lot of me just being straight honest, and this is kind of Kevin Samuel's point. A lot of women are actually sister wiving and sharing now as it is, without knowing. So,
Well, they're not sister wiving, because when you're sister wives, you love each other. You know what's going on and you work together. But they are sharing. They are in
right.
cohabiting. They are in cohabiting relationships, right? They cohabitating without understanding that that's what's going on.
So yeah, I mean, might as well bring it on top of the table. Instead of having it under the table and guessing and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you again, as always, for coming to our platform, joining us on the Humblest Opinion. We do see the numbers rising. We just hit our 5,000 impression mark. We want to say thank you for that. Please go to the Google the Humblest Opinion, look it up, search whatever else it would be. Here are viewpoints from Pan-Africanist humor and Pan-Africanist viewpoints and the impression of current daily news. We will have a riveting schedule of a few artists and a few individuals, few people with a different viewpoint from throughout the Caribbean and throughout the globe joining us on our next few shows. Thank you for tuning in. For myself, Tony Bahama, and Malik Aligamba, join us next time on The Humblest Opinion.
Let me go. See, there we go.